Before Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was even released, the same Warner Brothers team began work on another direct-to-video adventure, featuring our favorite sleuthing gang. This time, they're dealing with the undead in a different way, and we're adding in witchcraft. This review was requested by Dave Maggot and Bronson Wright Wolf. So without further ado, this is my review of Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. The movie begins with the mystery gang working on, take a guess, wrong! A mystery! This time they have some unexpected help from horror author Ben Ravencroft, voiced by Tim Curry, whom Velma, voiced by BJ Ward, immediately starts simping over. I mean, it's Curry's voice, can any of us blame her? Ben invites the five of them to his hometown of Oak Haven, Massachusetts, where it seems that a festival is happening, much to their surprise. The mayor, voiced by Neil Ross, explains that the big attraction to this event is the legend of a witch named Sarah Ravencroft.
Sarah Ravencroft was a medicine woman who practiced natural healing and was unfairly accused because of her eccentric ways.
Regardless of how her descendant perceives her, it seems the ghost of Sarah is haunting the town since this historically accurate village was built. So it's poltergeist rules, essentially. Even though the gang came here for a vacation, they're still going to be doing some sleuthing. While Scooby and Shaggy, voiced by Scott Inez, naturally head to the local restaurant. Velma, Daphne, voiced by the late Mary Kay Bergman, and Fred, voiced by Frank Welker, go with Ben to visit his home. Here he tells them a bit more about Sarah and how she was actually a Wiccan healer. It's been a near lifelong goal of his to find Sarah's journal so he can clear her name. I have to say, I was actually rather surprised that a cartoon would not only mention Wiccans, but explain them in a positive light. Since night has fallen, the four of them go to the Puritan village, along with several other tourists hoping to catch a glimpse of Sarah's ghost. Ironically, it's Scooby and Shaggy who meet Sarah first. Upon running into the rest of the group, they discover that the ghost has disappeared. But there seems to be some mysterious lights in the woods. This turns out to be the Hex Girls, voiced by Jennifer Hale, Kimberly Brooks, and Jane Weedland. It's suspected that they may have something to do with the ghostly witch. So Velma and Ben explore a barn in the woods, Scooby and Shaggy tail the mayor, and Fred and Daphne keep an eye on the Hex Girls. What's discovered is the Hex Girls are witches. There's a truck meant for cherry picking that has recently been used, and the mayor is up to some suspicious activities. Velma concocts a plan pretty quick, and Sarah is unmasked that same night. Mr. McKnight, voiced by Peter Renaday, Jack, voiced by Bob Joles, the mayor, and a few other locals are behind this terrorizing, in order to make a profit off of Sarah's legend.
I feel real bad about everything, and I wanted to apologize for using your ancestor in our little publicity stunt.
Yeah, the tourist trade was so slow. We were desperate.
Apparently, while constructing the recreation of the village, they wiped out Sarah's grave. Or, at least her grave marker. The odd thing is, they found no bones and no journal. But once again, Velma has a theory according to the buckle that Scooby had found earlier. So back to the woods they go, where some digging reveals a chest. Within is just the book Ben's been searching for. The problem is, this book is an actual spell book, and Sarah was exactly the kind of evil witch everyone thought she was. This means that as her descendant, Ben is able to use the book as he wishes. Using the Scooby Gang to find the book was his plan all along.
This is evil's finest hour!
How could I have ever liked your novels?
Honey, don't worry. You get used to the disappointment.
This isn't one of your silly little mysteries. You can't solve me so easily.
I don't know. I'm willing to bet mommy issues are involved here. Speaking of, Ben plans to summon Sarah's ghost, voiced by Tress MacNeille, but he can't do that without the book.
I'll take that.
Damn. Well, it seems that Ben's plans aren't turning out as he had hoped. Not only does Sarah laugh at the idea of following Ben's orders, but she also plans to destroy everything. While Fred, Daphne, and Velma create a diversion, Scooby and Shaggy retrieve the spellbook once again.
Like, got the stuffing, Scoob? Well, time to baste this bird.
Oh, I thought this was a kids movie. I'm not sure whether to call the ASPCA or SVU. Velma's plan now is for Thorn to perform the spell necessary to trap Sarah in the book again. Only she can do this because she's a real Wiccan on her mother's side.
Which return from whence you come!
And that is on generational trauma. So with the main attraction of Oakhaven shifting from a witch's ghost to a kaiju turkey, the Hex Girls go through with their concert the following evening. And with that, the credits roll. The style of animation from Zombie Island is carried over into this film, so it looks just as cool as its predecessor. The autumn atmosphere comes across very nicely, and genuinely feels like Massachusetts in fall, as well as the perfect place for some witchy shit to happen. Tim Curry gets a point just for being present in this film, thank you very much. There's some pretty close to accurate representation of Wiccans here. That may not mean diddly to most people, but as a witch myself, I actually appreciate the positive representation. This is another Scooby-Doo movie that made the monsters/threat real, which does raise the stakes. We get some very memorable songs in Zombie Island, and with the Hex Girls we got some here too. I rather liked the twist ending of Sarah actually being a source of evil witchcraft. The story feels a little less engaging than Zombie Island, but it's still not horrible. It wasn't as unsettling or scary as Zombie Island, in my opinion. There was a divisive nature when it comes to the people behind the script, and that comes across in the movie. The initial mystery and unmasking of the supposed witch is less than intriguing. The later portion of the story, where the supernatural elements come in, is where things get interesting. There is a stark separation of these portions of the film, and they don't blend together all that well to make something cohesive. This is one of the feature films that really drew a new generation into a refreshed version of Scooby-Doo, the first being Zombie Island, of course, and this being the second in line, followed by Alien Invaders and Cyber Chase. Witch's Ghost ensured that the whole concept of the Scooby Gang facing real monsters would continue. It also inspired a lot of 90s kids to be gay. I'm joking. Witch's Ghost seems to be rather divisive with the Scooby-Doo fanbase. Some don't think that it lived up to the standards of Zombie Island, others have a special place for it in their hearts, as a highly nostalgic film. Personally, I didn't grow up with this movie, but I did have Zombie Island, and was thoroughly unsettled by it. While I don't find Witch's Ghost to be nearly as scary, I think it's still a good story, that fits well with what we expect from a Scooby-Doo movie. Above all, the settings and atmosphere draw you in, and make for a solid autumn watch. With all that being said, I'm giving Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost 7 out of 10 bloody thumbs up. This is no less of a nostalgic and well-made movie for Scooby-Doo fans than any of the other feature-length films. I do feel it could have gone farther with its scare factor, but I know that the creative team involved were held back from that by executives and the like. Even with all the outside interference, the writers who were responsible for Zombie Island still managed to make a solid mystery for kids of all ages to enjoy. I would recommend Witch's Ghost to Scooby-Doo fans, witch and mystery enthusiasts, Tim Curry fans, and anyone who would like to watch a nice nostalgic movie for Thanksgiving. Thank you once again to Bronson, Wright, Wolf, and Dave Maggot for your requests. See you later.